I lost my gamepad to being a boy. I broke it or something. So when I lost my gamepad, the next thing I did was design on paper how I would like a paper Nintendo gamepad would look like. And then from that, I took the pieces that were left and tried to put them together using wires. So every time you get an electric shock when you're playing the game.
Man, you're looking fresh.
Fresh ideas.
I love it, dude. Fresh and the bow tie is so good.
Okay, I wanted to look. Let me see if I can add more light. Otherwise, how are you? Sorry for being a Zimbabwean.
It's fine, dude. Oh, nice. Better, that's awesome. Yeah. Cool.
Okay.
Yeah, man. Like, that's just how things go in Zimbabwe with power off. How do you guys deal with it at work? Do you have generators and stuff?
Yeah, generators at work are definitely
there. Yeah. Cool. So are we gonna start off with you having your first attempt?
No.
you look like you're ready to go, man. Like you got the voice there. Like...
what happens if I do my first attempt? That's what I want to know.
So I'll give you three. I'm gonna give you 3 tries. One at the beginning, one in the middle, and then one at the end. Let me get my stopwatch, and then we can start off by you doing your first attempt. Put the ends in line with each other to start out. So level, put them level. Yeah, cool. And then you're gonna start with your hands up. So when I say go, when your hands go down, I can know to start the stopwatch. All right, are you ready?
Yes.
Cool, man. Ready, go.
Oh, he goes straight for the tying and realizes he needs to adjust his lengths. Bit of a sigh there. And now there's going for that first tie. It's pretty focused. It's his first half of the bow formed. He's already got the...
it was too short.
Oh, no. He has to readjust. Okay. Makes his bow a bit longer. He's pinching the 2 ends together and trying to get his second bow behind that first bow.
Looking good.
Oh no. It's come loose. He's going to try again. His time is passing now. I like the dogs in the background. A lot of tension here. Okay, it looks like he's got his second bow through.
And once you're finished, just lift your hands up.
Okay.
Now it's just a case of him fixing things up.
It's too loose.
Yeah, it's going to be tough not for everything to fall apart. But it's coming together here.
Yeah, let's see what happens if we do this.
When you're happy with it, put your hands up so I can stop the time. Nice. Oh. So here's the time. 1:56.
I hope it's the best. No, what's the best?
So the best is, let me just check. So you got 1:56. 156.8. The best is 118.6.
Wow. So
So
I've got 2 more trials.
So yeah, you got 2 more tries. You basically need to take off 40 seconds. 40 seconds for you to.
So are the trials now, or we first do the interview?
So the interview is basically started now. So let me just enter your time. Okay, 156.8. I can share the screen with you so you can see what the other people's times are. All right, so here are the times to beat. This is number 1, 118. And you are sitting at 156. So you got 2 more tries.
Okay.
Cool.
So do I
Good,
try
man.
now or later?
No, we'll do it later. We'll talk, and then like midway through we'll take a break, try again, and then towards the end. But it's looking good. That looks really good. Yo, that's such a nice bow tie.
Okay, let's go.
Awesome, man. Yeah, so something I want to do right at the start is I want to ask you where people can find you, because the last interview I did, I like forgot this until the end. So where can people like find you on social media or see your work?
Yes, they can go on Cyprian Aarons at Cyprian Aarons .co.zw for my profile.
Okay.
And they can go on Cyprian Aarons at Cyprian Aarons on Twitter.
Okay, cool.
That's where I'm usually am.
Yeah, and your website has like all your links to everything else, right? So
yes, definitely does.
Okay. No, that's awesome.
Go on Fresh Ideas or freshideas.co.zw too.
Oh, they'll find you there. Okay, cool, man.
Yes.
Awesome. So you are the CTO of Freshideas, and you have you've got your own little startup that you're kind of working on.
Topiax.tech, yes.
So that's like a side hustle for you.
I've got 3 more now.
You've got 3 more. Wait, what else have you got going?
I've got selecthomes.co.zw. I've got grasscutters.co.zw.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wait, so Select Homes was like a retail
for real estate.
Okay, and grass cutters? Are you selling grass cutters?
No, we're actually doing workman jobs, like people who cut grass and stuff.
Okay, that's awesome.
And do landscaping and all that other stuff.
Okay, cool. We can maybe talk about that stuff a bit later. So I'm wondering, like, how did you get to this point? Because what you're mainly doing is sort of developing tech, developing websites, developing apps. Where did your training come from? Like, how did you? Or you can go way back. Like, what's your first exposure to tech? Because for me, it's like kind of amazing. I mean, like I grew up in Zim also, but I mean, I obviously got exposed to computers a bit in like high school, but never like any programming until I went to university, kind of thing, in South Africa. So it's kind of amazing because, yeah, that you've like got to this level. So what's been your journey?
Okay, so my journey started when I was about less than 10 years old. I used to develop my own, not develop, rather design. I used to design my own computer designs, create my own gaming pads for my Nintendo and stuff like that. Even for my PlayStation, I used to build my own using electronics and a bunch of online research. And also, when I was growing up, my uncle always kept a bunch of laptops. He was also a computer scientist. So as you as a computer scientist, it allowed me to learn from him. Because he had like 10, 20 laptops in the room. And all these laptops had, they were programmed with Mario. If you remember Mario, they all had Mario in them. And you always wanted to try and remove them from just being a laptop that plays games to a laptop that does more things. So I used to help them do that and also build computers.
Wow.
And a I also did a lot of chemistry. Like I used to also mix chemicals and stuff and put them in the oven, put them in the fire to see how they would react if a bomb was created or not. So that was me growing up. That was me before 10. I think I
Yeah.
once fed one of my friends a lizard skin or something. So, because it was just a mixture of lizard skin, some biscuits, and some other chemicals to see how if you would turn into a spider or something. Yes, yes, yes.
Dude, like you were ahead of your time because now people are trying
Very
to
ahead.
people are
Very
trying
ahead.
to eat like insects and bugs now. That like that's the most sustainable source of protein. So like you were way ahead of
Very
your
ahead.
time.
Very ahead. I hated school, but I always used to do things that were related to school: chemistry, physics, computer science. Like when I was growing up, the only biggest question I used to ask is, "Can you still invent something new?" And people will be like, "No, no, no." Naysayers will always like, "No, you can't build something new.
Yeah.
Everything new has been built, and it's now time for us to just be workers." But I always felt like there was something new that could be invented every
Okay.
season, every time. I always
Okay.
wanted to build something. I always felt that I was an entrepreneur, I was someone beyond just working for
Yeah.
someone else.
What gave you that kind of that self-belief? Would you say like did that come from like your family, or can you like put it on any one person or any event, or it just kind of happened
Yes,
that way?
there's events. There's events.
Okay.
One, my uncle, he's now in Tanzania, but he was always prominent in my life, and he was the guy who used to build things with computers and stuff. The other one was I used to always carry my father's business card, and he was a technical engineer. I always wondered what that meant. He's a mechanical engineer with a first class at UZ, but I always felt that a technical engineer meant something that was very unique. So I always wanted to be an engineer. And also Elon Musk. I think I started reading Elon Musk books or magazines or articles or whatever when I was very, very young, below high school or even in secondary.
Okay.
So
Okay.
yeah, Elon Musk, a South African guy who has built um, SpaceX, whatever, or Tesla. So it
Yeah,
always felt like it was something that was within reach.
that's awesome. That's
And a lot
cool.
of drawing, a lot of drawing. I used to draw a lot. Me and
Okay.
my friend, we used to draw, we used to invent games, actual paper games. Like we used to look at a Game Boy and build a paper Game Boy off that.
That is
Yeah,
incredible.
or take wires, or take wires. We used to take wires and build people that would have controls that could move around, fight them together, and one would win, the other would lose. That was
Yeah.
me growing up. Yes.
Okay. Wow, that's so interesting. Like, because I mean, like that's what like designers, UX designers do. Even now they'll like draw out a website or something. They'll sketch things out, right? And so like that was the
Yes.
first. That's the first step to designing like a game or
Building
something.
something.
It's just to sketch things out on paper or whatever.
Yes.
So that's so
Yeah.
interesting.
So for example, I lost my gamepad. I lost my gamepad to being a boy. I broke it or something. So when I lost my gamepad, the next thing I did was design on paper how like a paper Nintendo gamepad would look like, and then from that I took the pieces that were left and tried to put them together using wires.
Okay.
So every time you get an electric shock when you're playing the game. So like if you touch this wire and that wire, you would get a movement. Touch that wire and that wire, you get a movement. And you're playing Sonic and you're winning. That's how
Oh
it
my
was.
god! So you
Yes.
broke your controller and you like basically put it back together.
Rebuilt it, yes.
So was that
Without the plastic existing. It was not just cables and
okay?
wires. Red and green, blue and yellow would make the guy move. Blue and green would make that other guy move. So I'll take soft wire and I'll put that together into a gamepad that I'll cut with plastic and design a gamepad.
So was that the first time you made a gamepad when you broke your one?
Yeah, that was the first time.
So after
But it got
that, you
worse. I got worse because the Nintendo finally died and I tried to rebuild it again.
yeah.
Yes.
Huh. So after that, like it kind of exposed to you the workings of the controller, like the inside of it. And that's
Yes.
so from then that's when you were building more game pads.
Yes, I would build them every day now. It was like every day I would think of a new one. I start with a square one, come without another more aesthetically pleasing gamepad, and it goes on like that. Until then you finally reach a point where you break it again. Now it never works again. Yeah, that's how it works.
Yeah, that's incredible. So how, like, with all of this, how would you now, or how do you think about creativity? Have you like got a definition for creativity?
Creativity is doing what you want without any restrictions, without any boundaries. My idol is Kanye West. Was like I'm a Kanye West fan. I've always been a Kanye West fan. My first son is my second son is his name is Kanye. And we actually wanted to call him Ye, but the government refused. Said you can't call your son an abbreviation. But at the end of the day, I'm a Kanye West fan, and he tells me do whatever you want and don't follow any guidelines, don't follow any protocol. Just do what you think works and what is right. That's what I think creativity is. It's all about doing what you want and not following what has been said by others. Yes, you can be inspired by Michelangelo and all these other people, but at the end of the day, you need to have your own design and you need to have your own way of doing things. Like if you know Zim, there's a guy called Zim Da Vinci. He's doing very well with ugly, very ugly artwork, but he's doing very, very well because he followed his own mind and his own design.
Yeah,
Yes.
right? Yeah, that's cool. Yeah. And it's so interesting that you, like, just from your childhood, even you're actually just breaking stuff and that you learn things from that, right? And
Yes, definitely.
you said you hated school. What was the reason for you hating school?
This school is slow. School has always been slow. Like the time I went to university, by the time I went to university, I just went there because my parents were like, no, go to university, it's a very cool place. But I can honestly tell you that school has always been slow. That's why I had to homeschool myself. Like I homeschooled myself for my second O level and my second A level. When I mean second, it means that I had the first one in the first O level and the first A level, which I went to school for something that I didn't want because they had to put me in a box and say, "Oh, this is what you have to do." But rather, I said, "No, I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do this myself." So I taught myself my sciences for O level. I taught myself my sciences for A level, and I passed with very, very green colors.
Yeah.
And this was me self-taught in a very short space of time. But by the time I was about to finish my O level, my second O level, I started doing my second A level sciences, and I was doing 5 subjects. I was doing
Wow.
5 subjects. Yeah.
Huh. And
So
so
school is slow.
yeah.
School is slow.
And when at what point did you start learning some programming?
Programming, I'll say, just as after I finished I was about to finish my second A level. I was like, no, I'm going to do my programming. Well, I always like programming. Programming is I think it's the only way now to invent new things. If you go into, I wouldn't call it hardware engineering, but it is what it is. Electrical engineering, all these other engineering.
Yeah.
They are limited in terms of what you can develop. Like with programming, I can wake up today and build something new. Like since I started working for Freshideas, we have built, I think, 1, 2, 3, 4, about 5 to 6, 7 innovative ideas. And we've got one about to launch that is in the blockchain space. Uh, and that just shows me how creative blockchain is and how creative the software engineering space is. So I had to start early.
Yeah.
So I started before I was about to go to university. And I didn't want to go to university, remember. So I wanted to self-teach myself how to build things using software.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yes.
So with your own experience of like teaching yourself stuff and struggling a bit with the schooling system, and just how you think about creativity, is there something you would change about education in Zimbabwe? Like just based on your own experience, or things that you would maybe push for to be done differently, or things that could be added to the education in Zimbabwe?
Definitely. Like at least learn. At least let's allow our kids to know what they want. Um,
Yeah.
let's give our kids career guidance at an early age. Like if a kid says they want to be a policeman when they grow up, let's at least from kindergarten, let's at least direct them in that path. Like if imagine if I started coding when I was a baby, like my second born is like going at school right now, is now in kindergarten, and is already learning so many things that I didn't learn at my age. Imagine if I was also teaching him how to code.
Yeah.
Because remember I told you that my boys own a laptop, and now I will soon teach them how to code. Definitely.
Yeah.
Why not? I know they're
Get-
on Sesame.
Yeah, man. Get them some of those coding games.
Yeah, catch them more early. So that's the first one. You catch them more early. Then the second one is after grade 7. Also catch them again and see what they want to do. Always keep on giving them career guidance. Don't give them career guidance when they're about to go to university. And also, don't say because the kid has failed has failed, let's say, what sciences, or they have failed business studies or economics, whatever. Let's not say now they are forced to go into humanities or become political scientists or whatever. Let's allow them the space to either take a gap year or relearn whatever they need to relearn and get into the sciences or humanities, whatever they really want to do. Because that's the thing. In Zimbabwe, our education system doesn't allow us to do what we want to do. Parents are worried about how much school fees needs to be paid, but sometimes it's not that. Sometimes it's allowing the kid to do what they want to do with their life. So if
Yeah.
you allow them to do what they want to do, you have given them the space and confidence to actually thrive in that space. You don't want a software engineer who's saying, I wish I was a pharmacist. They are very lazy. Not lazy in the good sense of software engineering, but rather lazy in the bad sense. Like they don't want to do this. Like
Yeah.
coding to them is like gibberish.
Yeah.
So that's
Right.
the
So
point.
what's lazy? What's lazy in the good sense for programming?
Lazy in the good sense in programming is I wouldn't want to reinvent the wheel.
Yeah.
Like for example, I can definitely code blockchain from scratch using Python or JavaScript from scratch. But there's Ethereum now, there's Stellar, there's Ripple. So all these are like, I want to call them third-party providers, but like open source providers for blockchain. So these allow us to not start from zero, but you can start from zero in blockchain. So as a lazy developer, you don't start from zero. You take what other guys have developed and start from there. So that's also part of being lazy. And also being lazy means, lazy means not allowing yourself to create code that will need rewriting or debugging later. So
Okay.
in some cases, it's like making sure your code is self-explanatory, making sure your code is well commented, and it allows other developers to work on it after you are gone.
Yeah.
So it's like making sure that your code is concrete once and for all. That's a lazy developer. You want to code the same code 3 times.
Yeah,
that's
that's
bad.
funny.
That's bad
I
code.
like that. So
that's bad code.
yeah, going back to what you were saying about the schooling and kid, like if someone fails their grade, like their science or whatever, and then you're like, no, you can't become an engineer or whatever, even though they want to. It's a funny thing that I noticed, I guess, in Zim was there was definitely, and it's not just Zim, lots of places around the world have this, that like if you fail your O levels, like you're done almost. Like people are like, there's no hope for this person.
That's the problem.
Which is crazy.
Like sometimes you're watching too much movies.
It's like, why don't you just?
Or you're the girlfriend.
Yeah, but it's like you just rewrite them in a year's time. Like, what does it matter? Like, why should the next 30 years of your life or 40 years of your life be destroyed because you failed one exam and now you can't follow the path you wanted to follow? It's so it's interesting. There's like people don't accept failure. The way people handle failure, it seems a bit messed up. Like, how do you think about failure for yourself?
I think failure is the best. Like, I rather fail. Like, if let's, for example, if I get a project from Freshideas that needs to be done, I either do it quick and fail fast, and then start fixing those bugs or whatever that needs to be fixed, rather than me trying to be a perfectionist, saying that I won't fail at all. I'm the best developer in the country, but I won't fail. I'd rather just pass. Like the process of failure. Like look, if you look at this bot, I failed on this bot. I think every day I failed at least 10 times for the
Yeah.
last 20 days. I've been failing on this bot, and I've been failing on the last part because I
Yeah.
am not good at using my left hand.
Okay.
So it's like okay, I've been failing on this bow tie for all these days. It's like it's 20 by 20. That's like 20 by 10. That's like 200 failures. But I didn't give up because I knew that I was succeeding on the last on all these other steps, and just one last step was the one that I was failing on. So
Yeah.
that's how life should work. Like when you're failing, you're learning a lot of things, and then you're going to have to succeed on the last thing. But when you succeed on the last thing, you are gonna be a pro.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
how it
You've
is.
done.
That's how
Yeah.
it is.
No,
Yes.
that's awesome. Huh. So you started teaching yourself programming like before you went to
A level. Yeah, university. Yeah.
university, and then you started. How did you get the job with Freshideas?
Okay, so with Freshideas, right? It's more like I wanted to become an entrepreneur. So I was always an entrepreneur. I used to sell laptops, used to do EcoCash deals, used to do a lot of things. There's this other company called a multi-level marketing company called Avon. I used to do that too, and that's how I used to sustain myself and my family. So the plan was with Freshideas, or rather, it was Fresh in a Box at that time. I was inspired by Kuda Musasiwa always because he was a very good entrepreneur and CEO for Fresh in a Box. Very good branding, very good company with very good technology. So I saw it grow. I saw it go from WhatsApp, and then after WhatsApp, it became like a drop down that just allowed you to pick a one veggie box until it was an e-commerce platform. I was like, oh, these are they planned ahead. In fact, I actually saw Musasiwa grow from just having boxes on the table and delivering himself. So I was like, wow, this is very interesting. So that was one angle of it. So then one day I was like, no, I need to talk to this guy because I'm starting my own company. The company was Topiax. But within Topiax, I had projects, I had things I sell, which was a social media selling platform. So what I did is I just said, hi, say, on Twitter, DM'd him. Hi, say, can I have your number? I would like to come through for mentorship and stuff. So he gave me his number. I talked to him. And as I was talking to him, um, I showed him what I had. And I was like, cool, 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 cool. Then he sent me to his senior developer, who was Bakane Filime. So when I was talking to Bakane Filime, he was like, no, I'll give you a job. So then I actually got that job. But the job didn't come through as early as possible. So before I got that job, I was staying in Omboshawa, just after Broadway, and I had to become a vendor because I had left the other job that I was working at. I became a vendor, started selling sweets and candy and all the other stuff for kids, Zepnex and stuff. So, well, I think for 2 months I sold Zepnex with the wife, and then from there, one day, Bakan was like, "No, I'll give you the job. You come through to Harare, and I'll give you the job." So I came through to Harare, and Kuda Musasiwa and Rufaro, very good guys. Rufaro's Liwayo came through, and they were like, "No, Cyprian, we are giving you the job. Let's test your skills." So I was very new to Vue.js. I think I started it overnight. I don't think I slept. So I just studied it overnight. I was a good React.js developer and Node.js, but I wasn't good at Vue.js. So I came to this space where I was like, your interview is now. And I had one of these funny laptops that I had, an Asus dual core. So I cloned the fresh in a box code base. Then I ran it on my system. Then they were like, do this, do that. Then I managed to do that. So that's how I got the job. And it was a life-changing moment. I'm
Yeah.
now no longer in Dombosha. I now stay in my brain. I now no longer not eat meat every day. I can eat meat anytime I want. My kids go to the best schools. I've got a good life. I now use a MacBook.
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, I'm actually, people are always like, nah, you're too bored. But I believe I'm actually the best developer in the country. If I'm not that, I'm actually the best CTO in the country. Because
Yeah.
I've got very good developers. I've got people like Kuda Musasiwa, very good front-end developer and back-end developer too. I've got people like Ngoni, who's also good at mobile. People like Zandi and Pupurai, also good at front end and back end. They're all good developers, very competent. And I also still work with Bakani, who's a senior developer.
That's
So
awesome.
it's like I can tell these people like let they be a blockchain application that does this, and they'll build it. They'll build
Amazing.
it in a month. So it's like with little and no monitoring, because I don't believe in micromanaging, but
Yeah.
I do monitor that they make sure that they do their job. But at the same time, I encourage laziness. I encourage let us finish this up. I'm very impatient, and I'm like, let's build this and let's build this now, and let's make money off this.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's awesome. Huh. Do you want to have another go at trying to tie your bow tie?
Yes, why not?
Awesome. Nice. It's much quicker to untie it than tie it, right? Okay. Ready, go. All right, he's got his length straight away. Getting that first tie in. Gets his first bow up. Now he's got to try get that second bow through the hole at the back. Oh, it just drops out, but he collects it again pretty quickly. It's looking good. Super focused. Now he's just got to pull everything tight. Hands up when you're done.
Yes.
Dude, like, you don't need to put your collar down. You can, like, once it's tied, you can stop. And you're just so confident. You're like, I got some extra time. I'm gonna put down my collar. All right. So
Yes, yes.
56. I think that's a record, man. That's the record. You took off a minute. You took off.
Yes, we're winning. What's the space? What's the space? Best developer in the country right now. They can stop. Now I'm the best voter. They can stop us.
I love it. I love it. Okay, let's
Yes.
right, so that's 56.1 is your time. Cool. So you've got one more try. We'll do one more try later on.
I'll do 30 seconds.
Nice. That's amazing. Yeah, I mean, like, yeah, you don't have to put your collar down, so you could cut off like some time there already.
Is it? Wow.
That's cool. Yeah, so you mentioned that you and your wife were vending. So was that your only source of income at that point?
Yes, definitely our own source of income.
And
it
what
was bringing us a lot of money. We'll put it under the bed. So that's too much coins and too much bond notes.
Yeah. How
under $50, right? Back then.
Yeah. How long ago was that?
I think that's 2019, end of 2019.
2019.
That's November, October, and December, yes.
Okay. So basically a year and a half ago,
Yes.
you were selling like snacks, and now you have a team of how many people?
10.
Yeah.
10 developer. But that's my team. But remember, when I came through, we built Joey's, which employs about 50 people, and we Fresh in a Box employs about 20. It's like almost, I think I would say a 70 total, including non-devs. 70 to 80 total.
Yeah. So that's a crazy journey, man. In like less than
Very
2
crazy.
years. It's like mind blowing.
Very-
You've gone from like, yeah, you've gone from having like your Asus to your MacBook, and yeah, that's quite amazing. So you were still at university then, when you got that job, or had you dropped out of university?
Yeah, that's the time I dropped off. So during the vending time, I was also working on Topiax. So, and during that period, I was now doing so many jobs, side jobs, like that were relying on things like graphic design, building banners and stuff like that. But mainly it was just those graphic design stuff with Topiax. So I'd already designed business cards for that. One day I'll
Okay.
show you the business cards. Very cool business cards. So
Okay.
that was Topiax, and that was my vision. So I was like to one of my guy who's now in Belarus, Mandizhidza. I was like, look at me. I'm building Topiax. Can I can I also come through and become an inside man? It's a Fresh in a Box. Was he was working Fresh in a Box? So I was like, no. Can I come and join you guys and see how you're doing it? Was I always knew that starting a startup is hard, and I wanted like some experience without being actually the CEO of the company. Yes.
Yeah. And what's it been like working for Kuda?
Very great, very great. And there's too much freedom. Sometimes we misuse it, but I'm grateful for it. Like sometimes you can take a break for a month and you wouldn't mind. But at the end of the day, he's a very competent CEO, and he allows us, he shapes us, he gives us all this confidence that we now have. He leads us in the right path. We are never lost in doing coding things that don't actually get used. Like look at Joey's, look at Borosto, look at Surprise in a Box, look at Fresh in a Box itself. And right now we're working on Let's Farm, the blockchain application, which is very, very, very exciting. Once we launch that, you're going to see a wave. We'll be the first in Africa to build such technology, which is very great.
Yeah.
So it's like it really shapes us and gives us the ideas, the vision, and he supports us. Like he's not just our boss, he's also our brother, big brother. So he gives us a lot of support emotionally, motivation wise, even issues that go on in life in general. Like sometimes you can get in a dump, you can get in a burnout stage, and this is the guy to go to. This is the guy, like my birthday is like in 3 days. I know he's gonna surprise me with something big. He's definitely gonna surprise me with something big, yes.
Yeah. That's amazing, man. And yeah, it's been really interesting to see, because I mean you're still working on Topiax, so it's interesting that he sort of supports you in that, like you're still building your own businesses on the side, which is really cool. And yeah, how does he feel about you working on your own business?
He feels excited. He knows that any of us winning means he also wins.
Yeah.
He's always like, this is the energy that you need. You are very young. I wish I had the energy that you guys still have. Like, build everything you want. It doesn't matter with me. But at the end of the day, let me tell you the truth. The better I get with Topiax, the better I get with Fresh Ideas. So it's like, there's no lose. Even financially, if I was going to get it better, I'm still going to be that guy who's going to come and become a venture capitalist in the company and fund the company. So it's like, there's never a time that we are losing with us trying to do other things, but it allows us, our mind, not to be boxed down into one thing. Because Fresh Ideas, it's his vision, it's his dream, and we make sure that his vision and his dream is executed properly, and we never cheat but at the same time, he allows us to also build our own things, and us building our own things is us also making sure that our skills become better, and allows us to view the world in a very skilled manner that we can then come back to fresh ideas and say, okay, why aren't you guys doing this? It's been done at there. Yes.
Yeah.
Basically, it's a situation where uh, your government, the government says don't go to China. Everybody shouldn't go to China. You should just stay in Zimbabwe. Guess what happens? We all got that Zimbabwe mindset. But if you go to China too, we've got the China mindset where they're using QR codes, where they've conquered COVID, even though they're the ones who started with it. So it's like all that, you can bring that back home. You know what China did? China would send all its students to what you call this, to America to learn in Harvard, at Stanford, at all the other good universities in America, and come back with those skills. So that's the same thing that we are trying to do with the fresh ideas. We allow people to do whatever they want to do with their life. Even our contracts are very simple. It's usually just to give us our hours and listen to the head of the department and execute the work that you are required to execute. But we don't really care about what you're doing extra. Because extra is what then brings back the creativity, because it allows us to be expanded. Creativity is dead. Creativity is dead if you are not exposed.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
Interesting. And what is your Topiax? What's the idea behind that business?
Okay, so Topiax is like Topiax is more of a technological company that takes everybody's idea. Let's say, for example, you came, you have your Zimbo ties, and we're like, no, why don't we allow people to order Zimbo ties online? I'm the guy to go to and ask for that, to build you that type of technology that meets your idea. For example, this other day I was like, okay, why doesn't Kim have like a site that just teaches you how to tie a bow tie?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's taking your idea from an idea to execution to a solution. So Topiax solves problems for other people. Then
Okay.
internally it will also solve its own problems. Like it can also build its own technologies.
Yeah.
So that's
cool.
Yeah, that's Topiax.
Okay. Nice. And the blockchain project you're doing with Freshideas, is that your first exposure to blockchain?
Not really. Yeah, I've been exposed to blockchain since 2019.
Okay.
2019, I was working on a gold to token, or they call it gold to token. Yeah, gold. Yeah, converting gold to tokens, stuff like that. For
Okay.
another company. Yes. So that
Interesting.
was a very interesting project that even ArabZ wanted to get involved, and we got so much training of that. It would convert your token, your gold reserves to tokens. So basically,
Okay.
let's say you've got your one gram of gold, it will turn into one token, and you could exchange that and buy food and stuff, and even
Okay.
from restaurants using that
Interesting.
token. Yes.
Huh. That's cool.
Yes.
Wow. And what did anything ever happen with that?
And I dropped out again.
Yeah. But
Yeah, I've got a
but you
very
learned.
high turnover. I've got a very high turnover. It's like if my mind is not excited, I'll leave you.
Yeah.
I've got a family. I've got two boys and a wife, and
Yeah.
it's now staying in Maybarain. And I've got a very basic to luxurious life. But at the end of the day, I'm ready to go and leave the company that I'm working for if it's not inspiring anymore and doesn't
Yeah.
have vision. So
Yeah.
that's always the case. So it's
Yeah.
usually the vision. The vision, if it starts lacking, or if we are the only ones doing the work and you are not giving us direction as the CEO of the founder of the whatever business you're working on, or you're not driving that business, my brain would get bored. I don't want to get bored.
Yeah.
I'd rather be broke. I'd rather be broke and be a vendor again and still come back in the night and work on exciting stuff by myself.
Yeah.
Yes.
Interesting. So, and talking of one of your other things that you've got going is your a recent thing, the mental health.
Yes, all we got is mind. Yes, very exciting stuff.
What's it?
We're
All
now, we're
all
now,
we've got is mind.
yeah, we're now on Instagram, we're now on Twitter. Yeah,
So
and we've got a site now. Yes.
how like why did you start that?
Mental health, like sometimes being a human is very exhausting. Like for me, it's like kids can give me stress, marriage can give me stress, relationships can give me stress, work life can give me stress. The work-life balance can also give me stress. So not only stress, even depression, even anxiety. Like you can wake up and just think, no, I don't want to touch my WhatsApp because what have I done today for the company? Like I've done nothing. So what's next? Am I getting my salary or not? Like, oh, this is anxiety and oh, this is stress. And sometimes, like I said, motivation. If there's no motivation in the company, you're also very tired and depressed again. So it's like all these are factors. And just human life, like COVID right now is popping and it's everywhere. And there's now Delta plus. I'm sure there's going to be a plus plus. Though I'm vaccinated, I can tell you the truth. I still don't allow visitors. And when they come, I try and sanitize their hands, tell them to wear masks. And this is just me being very precautious and paranoid. So all these are factors that then affect you as a human on your mental.
Yeah.
So like sometimes you build things that don't get used. Sometimes you build things that you deal with customers that don't understand and just try and crash your mind so much that you get depressed and you get anxious. So I was like, there was a time when I was also looking for my own therapist and I was like, okay, where do I get a therapist? And I couldn't get one. So I was like, okay, let's make let me just try and create my own Oigadi's mind. Before I create Oigadi's mind, okay, let's be honest. Oigadi's mind has always been there. It's been there for years. Like it has been there for 3 to 4 years, 5 years. It's always been there. But what hasn't been there was the execution. More like where's the site? Where do I go to and look for people who can help me if I've got any mental health issues?
Yeah.
Okay, which Twitter handle do I follow? Which Instagram handle do I follow for Oigadi's mind?
Yeah.
And I understand, because most people are going to in the mental health space are doing it for money. So that was me thinking, with I don't need to do this for money. I can do this for my own sake and for other people's sake. Like I've used Oigadi's mind 3 or 4 times now since I built it. I can go there and just get inspired, get motivated, decompress. I can go to the site and look for a therapist for couples therapy or for any kind of therapy that I need at that particular moment. So it's like it actually helps. It actually solves a problem.
And where
And I didn't make money off that. And it's just like it's not
yeah,
about the money. Sometimes it's about the feeling that you get. It's like giving
yeah,
people a street kid money. When you give a street kid money, you don't even ask their name. You don't even think about how much you're giving them. You just give them. And you don't know what they're gonna do. Sometimes they'll do drugs, sometimes they'll use it for food, sometimes they'll use it for whatever, shelter. But at the end of the day, you've done it because it tells you in your mental and it tells you in your heart.
yeah.
So that's why I do it all you got is mind.
That's really
Yeah.
cool. And how did you even, I mean, I feel like in Zimbabwe, a lot of these things aren't spoken about, like mental health stuff is not spoken about a lot. It's obviously becoming more and more, people are becoming more and more aware of it, as they are all around the world. It's becoming something that people talk about more. But how, like, what exposed you? How did you learn what anxiety was in the first place? Or these kind of, or how did you become aware of how, when you're dealing with this client, this is how it impacts you? Where did you learn all that stuff?
Yeah. So far, awareness with me came with, I think it's been what 10. I wouldn't say 10 years, but there's time when I would allow the anger to build in, I would allow the depression to build in, but I would say 6 to 7 years from now, before, I managed to start understanding it, because sometimes women nag, sometimes kids nag, sometimes parents want you to do things that you don't want to do. Sometimes you are treated unfairly with the world, you're bullied. and all this other stuff. So as I started reading more and more, because I'm a very avid reader and I read a lot of books. So as I was reading all these books, I learned a lot from these books. Um, there's books like there's this emotional intelligence books that I used to read. They helped me. There were books like Power of Habits. There were books like what's the other one? I forgot his name. But also there was YouTube books, what you call them? TED
Channel.
Talks, yeah.
Oh,
TED
TikTok.
Talks, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, TED Talks. So there was a lot of TED Talks going on. All these were allowed me to build a lot of self-awareness and understand that after Kim does this to me, either it's going to affect me negatively or positively, or it's going to not affect me at all. So, so these were the type of books that I was reading, and they allowed me to learn a lot. Like recently, from my friend Kuda Musasiwa, he gave me one of his books, four agreements, the four agreements. So the four agreements go like this: there's like be impeccable with your words, don't take things personal. Um, uh, the other one was always do your best, and I forgot the other one, but I always forget one or two things. Like my brain always eliminates things. I learn a lot every day. Like today I was learning a little. I was learning a lot of rails. So it's like I always learn a lot of things daily. It's like I'm a just-in-time reader. So it's like my mind doesn't allow myself to memorize a lot of things. So that's why I was never good at school.
What do you mean by just-in-time reader?
Just-in-time reader or just-in-time learning is basically where you learn things according to what needs to happen. Like for example, let's say I want to do an interview with Kim today. The first thing I'm gonna learn today is how to do an interview, how to speak fluently in an interview, maybe even how to speak English.
Just in time.
Yeah, yes, just in time. So that's the same. So it's like you don't allow yourself to memorize too much things. Like in programming, there's a rabbit hole where you can learn a lot of things, learn a lot of Flutter, learn a lot of React, learn a lot of React Native, learn a lot of JavaScript, C Sharp, C++. You can do all that, which works, but I think it works for you getting a job. But it doesn't work for you actually executing that job. So when it comes to executing the job, it's like you get in there and you'll say, okay, I'm blank. Okay, what does this project need? Okay, it needs me to learn AWS. It needs me to learn maybe some server side backend. Maybe it needs me to learn HyperDB. So I learn HyperDB that day. I will learn AWS that day, and I'll learn maybe some React that day. And when it comes to learning this stuff, I'm not learning what is React Native, and you'll be like, okay, React Native is this. No, I'm learning how do I use React Native, because these are languages. So basically, you're like learning the syntax. You're learning how to speak those languages to a computer. So you learn that just in time, and you learn what's needed. Okay, right now I want to build a card. How do I build a card for my application? You learn that. That's how it usually works for me.
So you don't like have a set time of learning every day. It's just like as you need to learn something new, you learn it.
Yes, I rather start building. I rather say hello world. That's the first thing I do. I do my hello worlds for whatever language. The next thing I do, okay, how do I build this? Maybe I do my paperwork. Like there's a bunch of papers. Look at this. These are a bunch of papers. Or these are papers that I'm just learning a lot of things from and writing a lot of things too. So it's like I just write down on paper, okay, I want this application to do this. Okay, let me write that down. I write that down. Okay, this is what I'm learning today. That's my schedule.
Yeah. Huh. That's cool. Yeah, it's like it's interesting because that's like so different to school, right? Like for example, university, you study for 3-4 years. And then you go get a job kind of thing. And so it's not, I mean, you do projects and stuff as you go along, but a lot of the stuff you forget And then when you actually get a job, you learn a bunch of stuff on the job.
University is useless. University is useless. Like I actually prefer Zimbabwe University is okay to some extent, depending on which university you're in. But like American University is just debt and learning a lot of different bad habits. Like let's be honest, like for software engineering in general, like I was at school for almost 3 years. I'm only left with a year, but I can honestly tell you that I'm smarter than most A students at school. Like, there's no A student that can beat me in coding. There's no A student that can produce a better project that I can build. That's simply because I know that school doesn't really matter. They'll teach you the basics, and they'll teach you in a rigid manner where it's like memorization. Like you don't have time to learn the stuff. They'll give you a lot of assignments that you don't even have time to actually practice. Like it's really not. It's archaic, really, when it comes to like things like software engineering. Like I would prefer a person to be more self-taught in that space. Like when we are hiring at Freshideas, we don't hire based off do you have a degree? No, never. We'd rather hire you based off show us what you have done. Okay, you haven't done anything, so that's cool. Okay, do this. We'll give you a week to do this. You can do that in a week and you show your creativity, you show us your intuitiveness, you show us how quick you can learn, then we work with you. We even sometimes we don't even ask your language. Like what language have you learned? Like, are you good at Vue.js? No. Why? Doesn't matter. What matters is execution. Sometimes what matters is how quick can you build something and how smart and how creative can you be with it.
Yeah.
So school doesn't matter sometimes.
Yeah, I guess what school teaches you in some ways, one of the most valuable things is that being able to teach yourself. That's what it should really teach you. Because how did you? I mean, you talked about this a bit, but just in terms of that just-in-time learning, like how do you teach that? How would you teach that to someone? Like, because that's maybe what school should be teaching.
When you've got a syllabus, you can't teach that. When you've got a curriculum, you can't teach that. So what then happens is 4 years are going to go down the drain. Like what school teaches is actually most of the time, especially after A level, is how to waste time. Especially in the what you call space, in the software engineering space. Like it'll take me a day to learn Ruby, but at school it will take you a semester. That's 3 months, 3 to 4 months to learn Ruby. Like they'll teach you it will take 4 months for the lecturer to give you assignments and give you tests and then give you an exam of what is Ruby. Write a program that does this in Ruby. Like why?
Yeah.
So you see, like you only do 2 projects in Zimbabwe for university.
Yeah.
Like a very competent developer should have 25 to 30 projects under his belt. Just to have them, just for yourself. Different use cases. Yes.
Yeah. It's interesting your thing of saying a syllabus.
It's fixed. It's fixed.
Yeah, exactly.
The syllabus is fixed.
So you know, like this is the route you have to go down, and so it almost like kills curiosity in some ways. In that, like, if I wanted to learn about this thing, I wouldn't be able to because I need to go and learn about all these other things that are on the syllabus.
Look at iOS. Look at iOS. iPhone started in 2017. In 2007, iPhone. I don't know what iOS they were in 2007, but look at it. 2007 minus 20. That's like 13 years, so that's like every year they are giving us a new iOS. Because we're on iOS 14 right now. So what does that mean? That means school is fixed, whereas technology is very fluid and it's very flexible. So because with iOS, let me tell you, for Swift, you have to learn Swift every year, if that's the case. So let's say you go to school and they say, okay, now we're learning Swift 11. What are they saying? They'll be like, they'll push the point that we are trying to teach you the basics and stuff, but this is going to take you 4 months to learn the basics. When it's supposed to take you less than an hour or 2 hours to learn the basics, and then you go on to the next thing. which is what? Which is the next iOS that they've reintroduced. Because before the year ends, they're going to reintroduce a new iOS
Okay.
again.
And what does
Which
the
is a new
language?
language.
The language
No, it's
changes?
not. And iOS is the operating system. But with
Yeah.
each operating system, it comes with a lot of new syntax and a lot of new features that will require you to actually update your programming skills in that
Yeah.
space. You see
Yeah.
now?
So
Yes.
yeah, there's kind of continual learning as you go along.
Yes. Until you die. Until you die. Until you RIP. That's how it is. So rather you know that this degree is something that like the biggest weakness with people with the school is they think that they can come with their degree and be smarter than you, but it's
Yeah.
usually not the case. The only smarter person is the person who knows how to learn just in time and very quick.
Yeah.
Learn fast as possible.
So for someone who wanted to learn just in time stuff, it's really, would you say it's just about doing projects? Just
Yes. Start.
yeah. Yeah.
Download the editor and start coding.
Yeah. Nice.
And maybe worst case scenario, go online and search Google. That's why Google is there, the biggest search engine with the biggest database of information. Just go there and search, how do I write Ruby? How do I write hello world in Ruby? Okay, that's how I write it. Copy that and write it on. That's why there's that movement of copy and paste. Not
Yeah.
always the best model, but like sometimes we're memorizing things that we can get online in a second.
Yeah.
It's like learning. It's like memorizing every moment in a movie, every script in a movie. Like, why?
Yeah, you can just watch the movie again. It's there.
Yes, it's there. It's always there.
Huh. So yeah, so with your going way back to your All We Have Is Mind, where
Yes.
right now it's basically you've got some resources on there. What else is like for people wanting to use it, or where are you planning to take it?
Artificial intelligence. It will definitely have a chatbot very soon that will help people on the go. It will definitely have a proper blog platform that will also help people blog. And I think I'll allow a bunch of features. I think I'll allow every therapist to download a therapist or mental health practitioner to download the application that allows them to get pinged or notified when someone wants help instantly.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's very, very big. It's like it's small right now, but that's just the beginning. It's got so many features. I haven't even done the search engine optimization or bought a domain for it or the emails. But that's just the beginning. It's like I always believe in starting because I did that
Yeah.
in a few hours. I think I did that in 2 hours. I built that site in 2 hours, and I was like, okay, let's stop there for now. But guess what? It looks like it looks very simple right now, but it's built on top of so much infrastructure that is ready to be scaled.
Okay.
I can really scale that to the world because right now it's Zimbabwe. I want that to be Africa, and I want that to be the world very soon.
Yeah, why not? That's cool.
Yes.
And yeah, it's always good. It's for me, it's kind of like it's almost like music, right? If a lot of we can get all this music from, I don't know, let's say America, but then it's just one style of music. And like Zimbabwe having its own music or South Africa having its own music, you have like it just adds more flavor to the world or more different sounds to the world. And so in the same way for like mental health, there's unique lessons and just a different flavor of talking about it that you can bring to the world that just people in America or people in China just haven't thought of. And so yeah, it's good to have that. to have
Yes, I agree.
more people
I
talking
agree.
about it and different voices talking about it. So
I
it's
agree. If
exciting.
you look at the Instagram page, it's very, very competent. Yes. If you look at that, I'm working with one of Kuda Musasiwa's daughter. She does that Tendo Musasiwa. She's a very competent marketing guru, a very competent graphic designer, and she's helping me with that. And there's also Lavender Shuma, who's also helping me with that. So it's like I really need to build a bigger team. Sometimes I go on there and I haven't done anything there in a week or two, and I'm like, wow, they're really doing an amazing job, and they're like very competent. And you don't have to push them, you don't have to micromanage them, you don't have to tell them do this, do that.
Yeah,
So it's like it's a movement and it's growing
that's cool.
and it's not stop.
And it's, I mean, that's all, it's basically charity, right? And they're doing it as charity work, essentially.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes. We're all doing it for charity, and
yeah,
I'll give it so much developer hours. Like per hour for development right now, I charge $50 to $100 US dollars. So if I give that site 2 days, there's a lot of money that I've put on that. But end
yeah,
of the day, it's worth it.
yeah, yeah, for sure.
Yes.
That's really cool. How do you, I mean, how did you go and ask them, or they just kind of offered to volunteer?
They were excited. They offered to volunteer, and they were like, "Wow, this is very amazing. I like what you're doing with this. Let's do this."
Yeah.
And they joined.
Huh. Awesome, man.
And there's more that are willing to join, but I just haven't put them up because I need to have structure within that space. So right now I don't believe I have that much structure. I'm afraid that if I keep on adding more people, I won't be able to manage them and handle them. So it's like I need more time to build a more business structure for it. Not financially, but on a non-profit organization structure of what we can do with that. Because remember, what we can do with this is like there's people who can't afford to get mental health help. You can offer crowdfunding for that. People who can sponsor people who want mental health. We can. There's so many things that we can do that will require us to have more structure, and that will allow us to have people who can then fund us or to donate to the cause. The cause is very, very big. Like it's hateful that I know people who have killed themselves recently because of mental health. I think this year I've had suicidal episodes for two or three times, and it's like I know it exists. And some of my friends have had the same situation where it's like it's either suicide or just giving up on life or so many other things that
Yeah.
like it's Zimbabwe, but not just it being Zimbabwe, but it's also like life is very tough in general. Like with COVID, life can get tough. Like you can lose your job, you can be told to stay at home, and all these factors are very, very hard, disheartening, and they require help. And all this help sometimes comes with other people donating. So you don't want people to donate to people who then steal your money or any other thing. So that's why I say we need structure. And sometimes you don't want people who then have access to social medias and then just post rubbish or things that are offensive.
Yeah.
People can just come with a better agenda. Like Zimbabweans sometimes can do that too. Or in general, people.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
No, man, that's really good. It's really good work. How do you think about, you mentioned like people doing your social media for this and just your own use of social media in terms of using social media, like how does that impact mental health, and also just using social media in general? How do you think about it?
Okay, it's a simple story. Like I usually just post code snippets and other insights on coding. Like sometimes when you don't get a comment or a like or a like or a retweet rather, like on especially on Twitter, sometimes it breaks your heart, it affects you. You sometimes take it personally. So it's like sometimes it does affect your mental health if you do too much of it or if you take it too personal. But sometimes I'm like, okay, nobody liked my post, but like I'm sure it helped someone. But sometimes you have to look at the impressions, and there's like 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 impressions. Or sometimes you just ignore all that and just post, but you're posting for yourself. Because remember, when I do things, even when I blog, because I blog some technical blogs usually, I don't do it for people. Sometimes I do it for myself. Like I'm learning. I'm learning how to do things. So when I learn, I write about it. I reinforce my learning. Because that's what I was always taught. Like after I taught myself A level, the first thing I did when I went to thing to exams and before exams, I'll sit down with people and start teaching them. I was teaching
Yeah.
people who were at school how to learn physics, what was quantum mechanics or whatever. So it was like, wow, teaching actually helps you.
Mm,
So
mm,
with blogging, with blogging I'll be teaching people. With tweeting, I'll be teaching people, but I'll be also
cool.
teaching myself, mostly myself. So what I didn't do is sometimes I like or retweet my own posts. Like, why not?
Yeah.
I'm the best developer in the country. You see, no.
We need to have a developer competition, or I guess the competition is how well your company is doing. How
Yes,
well Fresh-
we are the best company right now. Who's left? We can't
Yeah.
talk about cassava. We are the best company in the country. We've got
Yeah.
we've got software as a service for e-commerce platforms. We're now building a blockchain, which is going to be all over the place for the rest of the year. So it's like we're really doing well. We've got the best developers too, and I'm leading those best developers. So that makes me the leader of the best developers
I like it,
in the
man. I like it. What other companies are there? You mentioned Cassava. Are there any other
There's
companies?
Cassava, there's Afrosoft. I think those are the top two, but we're the top of them all. But we don't even have the budget that these guys have. We're literally working off our own back, but we're winning still. So it's like, no. People are like, let's do a competition, but I'm like, I'm not worried about a competition.
Yeah.
I'm more worried about what do I get after the competition, because I'll definitely be the more. I'm just that confident. I know myself.
Yeah. Well, business
No,
is the competition, right? It's kind of like a game.
yes.
So
Yeah. Yes. Yes.
interesting.
There needs to be rewards. Yes.
Yeah.
I need an M1 or M2 for me to participate.
When you say an M1 or an M2, like 1 million.
No, like there's MacBooks. There's a
Oh,
new
okay,
chip,
okay, yeah.
silicon
It, sho-
chip. Yes. Yes. Yes.
it shows you that I'm a Windows user.
Okay. Okay. Let me give you an example. I participate in competitions that can buy a house in Poroto.
Okay.
Like, yeah, I already do that. Like on Kego, I can participate in a data science competition. I sometimes don't win, but sometimes I win. Like the people I lead, my subordinates, also do the same thing. Some of them have already won these M1s. They've already won so much money, thousands, millions.
Nice.
So in RTGS. So it's like I'm ready to go if there's a competition. But at the end of the day, my mama told me that I'm the best developer. So if my mom says I'm the best developer, I am.
Yeah.
Even Kuda Musasiwa says the same thing, and he's the best CEO in the country right now.
Yeah. No, that's epic, man. Own it. That's cool. And what is kind of like next for you, and where are things going? You've mentioned a bit of things already, but how do you
Next
feel
one,
about the future of business? Or
5 years or 10 years.
yeah,
5-year plans in 10 years.
do you
5 years,
have
I'm
those? Is
about
that
10.
something you have?
Yeah, yeah.
I
It
can't
always,
plan beyond like 2 weeks.
I've got a 30-year-old plan, and me being a billionaire. Like, I
Okay.
need to, like this year, I've been very aggressive with starting so many startups. And I've also been aggressive with Freshideas and making sure that the technology is there, makes a lot of money in the future. So it's like, I need to be a billionaire at 30. So there's 4 years left. And I set this goal when I was 20. So it's like 6 years of hard work and going to university, learning to code. And I know it's definite. Like I've seen companies that like Misfits Market in America. It's already $1 billion company. It's doing the same thing that Fashion Box is doing. and that's just one of our companies. I think Deliveroo. Deliveroo is doing what Borosto and Joyce is doing, and Surprise is doing, and that's like a billion. It's so much billions of dollars that have been made,
Yeah. Yeah.
and so it's like just a matter of time now. And I want 4 years to be a billionaire. And I also want to retire early. Like Bezos just retired today, so it's like I need to also retire early.
I like it,
I need
man.
to also retire early.
Yeah, I mean that
And I
links up
also
to what
yes,
you were saying about creativity is being able to do what you want, right?
yes. Paint. I'm also a rapper, so I need to also get back to my rhymes.
Sweet,
Get back
man.
to write double entendres and triple entendres. Yes.
That's cool. So you and are you and Kuda gonna collaborate on something?
Definitely, definitely. With the Picoran son, definitely. Like I always tell him, like let's collaborate. Like I can get Japraiser to do the hook. Yes.
If he's good enough, like if he's good enough.
Yeah, if he's good enough, like this Enzo right now and Holy, but like Holy is a cool dude, but like I'm also like let me join this let me join this gang of being the king of hip hop. But right now I'm trying to just be the king of coding, but like let me also
Yeah,
come through there and entertain myself.
yeah, that's cool. So yeah, besides your coding, you've got other like creative
Hobbies, yes,
outlets. Yeah.
yes, I do. I
So
definitely do. Like writing blogs is definitely one of them. Um, I sometimes write my lyrics on paper for myself.
that's cool.
I really do drawing, but I used to draw. But I'm also a good graphic designer.
Okay.
Though Kuda always laughs at me because it's the best in the country or even the world.
Yeah.
So it's, I really do graphic design anymore, but I'm good at that too. Um, yeah, gardening sometimes. When
Okay.
I garden well. Yes.
That's
I can
awesome.
grow cows. I can grow cows. I can grow cows in the garden. Water them up easily.
That's
Easily.
amazing, man. That's so good. Fantastic.
And playing
So
games. And playing games with the boys, with my kids.
yeah,
Watching TV, playing games, reading books. Yes.
yeah. No, that's you've got the life, or you're shaping the life.
Yeah, trying to.
Yeah,
Trying to.
that's awesome. All right. Do you want to have your last attempt?
Oh, let's go.
Let's do this. Yeah, this is, I mean, you've already got the record, so this is to try beat your own record.
I'll try.
Okay.
Are they
Cool,
level?
man. Yeah, put those guys level. Perfect. Okay, ready, go. All right. Is he going to beat the record? The first tie over. Oh, his hands are looking a bit frantic. Okay, he's got to pinch those parts of the first bow together. Yep, there we go. Now he's got to try pass it through.
I'm not gonna beat this.
It's still possible.
It's still possible.
41 seconds.
Yeah. It wasn't tight.
Yeah, you had to start again there. It's going to be tight. Ah. All right. All right, you're over. Yeah, you're over. That's cool, man. All right, let's do this leaderboard. Let me update the
Oh.
leaderboard.
Okay.
All right, where share screen. Okay, so there we are. It's the best time.
Half the time.
Leaderboard. These guys can all get moved down one. Number 1.
Winning. You didn't send me another one. This is another bow tie.
Awesome. Yeah, maybe at the end of the year, maybe that's a good idea. We give a prize or something to the person who's at the top of the
An
leaderboard.
M1. An M1. Maybe by the end of the 16-inch make M1.
Yeah, because the podcast is gonna be making so much money. Bow tie sales will be up there. It'll just be small. It'll be small money for us by the end of the year.
No, you win. You win, definitely. This is the best. Like you doing podcasts and this Simbo tie stuff. Like I saw the branding, it was insane. Like,
Cool.
like is Simbo tie an e-commerce platform though?
Yeah, so we've got we've got a website that's mainly selling overseas.
I saw the website. But
Yeah,
I just felt like it needed a more like take your money type. Take
yeah,
your
yeah.
money type website where it's like, okay, that's a nice boy tie. I want that. Okay, this costs how much, this delivered this way. It's very
Okay.
simple.
Okay, yeah, we'll have to
400
chat.
bucks.
We'll have to chat more. I'm always learning
Yeah.
also, so I'll
Yes,
get
I
some
agree.
tips from you. That's cool. Fantastic. No, man. Thanks so much.
Thank you too.
Yeah. Anything else?
Just edit out stuff that will get me in trouble with Zimbabwe.
Yeah.
And that is more 2-minute bow tie session. Okay, so when will this be online?
I'm not actually sure when I'm gonna get to edit it. I haven't edited my last interview yet, so I'll try.
Wow.
I'll try and get it done in the next 2 weeks. We'll see. And then what I'll do is I'll send it to you, and you can maybe have a quick listen and tell me to cut out anything that you don't like.
Okay, awesome.
But yeah, was there anything?
Let's push.
Was there anything else you wanted to like talk about that we maybe didn't?
No, this was overall good.
Yeah.
Very good. I agree.
Okay. Anything you
Thanks,
learned?
bro.
Anything you learned from this process?
I learned that I'm actually know myself than I think.
Yeah.
I actually know who I am. I just that I'm not. I need to actually speak. I need to do my own session, a Cyprian to Cyprian type Zoom call.
Yeah.
What's
It's
up,
cool.
bro?
Yeah. It's funny,
But,
right? 'Cause yeah, sometimes you like feel like you don't know a lot of stuff, and then when you speak to someone or you get interviewed, like you actually realize, wow, like I've learned a lot of things, or I've got something to say, and it's really good.
I was really like, what am I gonna say all this time?
Yeah.
So it was like, and it's fortunate that they saw it. I was supposed to pretend to actually repeat things that I would have seen online. I was about to go online and start reading things, preparing, watching all your old videos, like research, just in time learning.
I love it. So I got you. I'm prepared, and this was still so good. So no, that's cool, man.
Awesome, bro. Thanks.
All right,
Let's
Cyprian.
keep in touch.
We'll chat soon, man. Thanks so
Later,
much.
bro.
Cool.